What's up, you guys? Matt Jablonsky
Caitlin Tanner.
here with the Point of Change. I am just getting some shares on the board here, so if you guys wouldn't mind, go ahead and share this video out, like this, love this, comment, let me know a recovery date, something like that in the comments down there. That'd be great. Let me get this shared over to the event so that Facebook's giving me some glitches today apparently. So let me get that in there. So tonight, guys, we are here to celebrate the life of Nancy Stancombe. Nancy is my Aunt Brenda's sister who recently passed away from an overdose. Of course, if anybody is watching this and you have lost someone you love due to overdose, tonight's a great night for you to be here to show support for my Aunt Brenda and anybody who is pushing through recovery. This is a good reminder of why we got to keep going in recovery. And anybody who hasn't experienced this, I hope to God that you never have to experience this, and maybe tonight you can learn something about what it's like to go through something like that. Yeah, hopefully that gets out there like it's supposed to. Thank you, everybody who shared already. I appreciate that. Let me get this pulled up over here so I got my comments as well. Clicking on stuff. My Aunt Brenda is here tonight. She'll be sharing her sister's story of how it all started into addiction and then through, and how Nancy's battle with addiction affected their family and how her death has affected their family. There is a link in the description of this video if you would like to make a donation to Nancy's fundraiser to help pay for the final expenses. There's a link in the description of this video. It'll take you over to the fundraiser, or you can simply go to my Aunt Brenda's Facebook page, Brenda Jablonsky on Facebook, and you will find the link there as well. Also, any stars that are thrown up during this broadcast will be donated to Brenda to help with final expenses. We have a small donation that we've put together through the help of the Patreon supporters. Every month here at the Point of Change, we have Patreon supporters, merchandise, and the Facebook stars that come through every month. And I take 10% off of everything that comes in, and we donate it to a nonprofit or charity organization. This month, we've decided to donate that money to Nancy to help with the final expenses, or to donate that to Brenda to help with the final expenses for Nancy. There's that video. Get that pulled up. So with everything that came in this month, between the Patreon supporters, the merchandise sales, the stars, and then I threw in a little extra out of my pocket, we have a $110 donation to give to Brenda. So thank you. Throw some hearts up on that one, $110. And anybody else that would like to donate, of course, you can either reach out. If you can't figure out how to get to the donation or anything like that, reach out to me. I would be glad to hook you up with a donation, with a place to go so you can give. As I've learned, generosity is just like another muscle. We have to learn to be generous. We have to learn to give. We have to learn to donate, things like that. And the more often you do it, the better you feel about it and the easier it becomes. So doing these kind of things is not only good for the people you're donating to, but it's good for you as well to practice your generosity. Patrice, when are you giving it to her? I have it. Just as soon as we can. I just have to send it over on Cash App or PayPal or whatever means necessary that is there to send it over. But we'll get that taken care of either tonight or tomorrow. Tomorrow's Monday, so probably tomorrow, but I imagine we can pull it off tonight. Yeah. Samantha, thank you, Matt. No problem. Samantha, Teresa, yes, for sure. Right on. We got some stars coming in here too, so let's see what we got there. We got 200, 300, 400, 500, 600 stars right there. I think that's as far as I can scroll back on this, but there's 6, and there's another 100, so that's $7 there. Thank you guys so much for all the stars. Matt, what's the minimum donation amount? You can make any donation you like. You can go to the link in the description of this video to go to the actual Facebook fundraiser and donate right there, or get a hold of us and we can find a different way for you to donate, Matt, if you feel led to do that. Cheryl, that's awesome. Thank you. Right on. Thank you for being here, Cheryl. Michael McNeil. Bradley Bagwell is here. What's up, Bradley? Brandy is here. What's going on, Brandy? Jessica, good to see you. I am new. Thank you for the invite. I am a recovering addict. Right on, Jessica. You are in an awesome place. Mary Huffman is here. Thank you, Mary. And she's honoring Amber Jean Piggy Carter, 3/27/84 to 3/19/2018. Her story is not over yet. Right on, Mary. Definitely. Anybody that's lost somebody to addiction or overdose, let us know in the comments. All right, guys, I'm going to not waste any more time here. I'm going to get my Aunt Brenda up on here and we can start sharing here. Mary, I will do Cash App to you, Maddie. Okay, yeah, if anybody would like to Cash App to me, here, I can put it down here for you guys. And then and just make sure you write in the description that is for Nancy or Nancy or Brenda, either way, and I will make sure it gets to where it's going. $ Matthew Jablonsky, 2 T's in Matthew, and Jablonsky is SKY. Try not to send a bunch of Cash App money to somebody else. Well, you can't. Bless them too, you know. All right, guys, we're going to bring Aunt Brenda on here. Please throw up every heart and care emoji you can and welcome my Aunt Brenda Stancombe Jablonsky. Hey, Aunt Brenda.
Hey.
Good to have you on here tonight.
Thanks. Thanks for having me.
Oh, yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. You know, when we were messaging and you talked about your sister, and I could tell you were really close. I know this is kind of a hard thing to talk about, but thank you for coming on here and sharing with us. And you said that you would hope that your sister Nancy's story would help somebody out there.
Yeah.
Bring a little meaning to the whole thing. So I think this is a great way to do it.
Exactly. She was a pretty special person, really. I don't know.
You were the 2 daughters out of a bunch of brothers, huh?
Right. Yeah. We were the only 2 girls out of 6 kids. And so we had 2 older brothers and 2 younger brothers, and we were right in the middle.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. How far apart are you in age?
Nancy and I are 2 years apart. 2 years.
Oh, okay. So really close then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, 18 years or better, sharing your bedroom, your bed, your everything, you know, little sister getting into your clothes, ripping them to shreds, not knowing what happened. You know, I mean, the typical stuff. But, you know, you fight, you argue with your brothers and your sisters, but nobody else can. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
I can say what I want, but don't you say it. Don't you do it?
Yep.
So, you know, all of us, we always have each other's back no matter what. And, you know, you come from a close family too. And it's been rough, to say the least. It's been rough.
To say the least. It's very fresh, 10/28. So that's just last week.
Yeah. And you know what's really sad, and I want to say now, I appreciate everybody's help, because we can't even get her to the funeral home yet.
Yeah.
So
you had messaged me about that earlier. That is rough. Until you get the money to have that paid for, that you can't even have her at the funeral home yet. And that's hard, because it doesn't give you closure yet on any of this.
No, not at all. And you know, she had 2 sons, and then of course my mother's still alive, so that's she's still with us, so that's rough. You know, should never. I know it happens, and it happens far too often, but we should never have to bury our children. We should not.
No.
And I just want, you know, my sister she never hid her addiction from anyone. She posted about it. She posted about her struggles. On Facebook, she used it as a platform, in a sense. And
now, she had 5 years of recovery before this relapse, correct?
Yeah, 5 years. So, you know, at least we had that 5 years.
Yeah, and that's a beautiful blessing.
Yeah, it really was. Not enough, but
amen. It's never enough. It's never enough time with our family and loved ones. But that's a good thing to keep people on their toes, you know, because I'm coming up on that 5-year mark real quick. So it's a good reminder to, you know, that we can go back out at any time and keep working your recovery, keep doing what's good for you. And we had talked before going live here. You said that this last relapse of hers was 3 months before she passed away. She had relapsed, and
that's what. Yeah, I'm finding out. It was she had been using at least 3 months back, and you know, I guess we just wanted to believe so badly she had this whip that we didn't see the signs. None of us did, and we're all kicking ourselves. I mean, she lived with my mom. My mom just feels like she just lost half her world. You know, I mean. It was daily they were together. So, and it's been really hard for them, my parents, both my parents, my stepdad and my mom, because, you know, she did so much for them.
Yeah,
She
and
really,
that's the thing. It's even in recovery or in our active addiction, the person is still in there.
yeah,
And
yeah,
yeah, in our recovery form, of course, we can shine as bright as we can. And I'm so glad you get to see her doing that for 5 years there.
right.
And you had mentioned that this relapse was approximately 3 months ago that it started. Um, but I think what you said before is really important too. That that she felt ashamed of herself for relapsing, and she didn't reach out. She didn't tell anybody that she
Right.
had relapsed, and that's really important to anybody out there that's pushing through recovery. If you do slip up, you do God forbid it happens, but tell somebody about it as quick as you can. Open up about it.
Absolutely. Don't
Yeah.
hide it. Don't be afraid that you're going to be disappoint us or you're going to let us down, because you know what? Let me down, because I'd rather be there for you and feel a little bit disappointed than to have this. I mean, I would have much rather been yelling at her right now that, hey, you're tougher than this. You can do this, than doing what I'm doing.
Amen.
But,
Amen.
I mean, the one thing I think I've learned about addiction is I firmly believe no one chooses to be an addict. No one goes out there and says, hey, I'm going to be an addict. I'm going to do this today and that's my life goal. Nobody does. And there's always an underlining reason, and most times it's somebody's mental health. It's depression, it's unable to talk to people, it's anxiety, it's PTSD. It's My sister had a dual diagnosis, and she didn't hide it. She didn't hide it from anybody. It is what it is. And she struggled. She really did. And my mom and I were talking tonight, and I said, Mom, I said, I keep telling myself she was broken inside. And then you remember I told you that one song, and we played it at Uncle Ernie's funeral, Scars in Heaven. It speaks volumes. Volumes. If you listen to it, it is so many people walk around broken and they try to act like they're okay. And I have to applaud you, because when you're having a bad day or a bad week or a bad month, Matt, you're not afraid to get out here and say, hey guys, I need you to give me a break. I need a break. I need some downtime. I got to work on myself for a minute. And hey, everybody's willing to, we got your back, Matt, whatever. I've seen
Mhm.
it, and you got some great followers. But some people are afraid they can't do that. And that's where my sister was afraid of letting us down, especially I think my mom and myself, because we struggled so long with her that she did not want to let us down.
Amen. Amen. And I think there is a pressure added to recovery nowadays with social media. Um, those of us who are so open and proud of our recovery, as your sister was and I am, that there is this pressure to keep it going, and this pressure to keep this image of recovery going, so to speak. And I've heard that hers is not the only story I've heard
No.
of someone who advocated for recovery like that and then slipped up and felt like they were going to let everybody down if they came out and
Mhm.
said that they were relapsed or even struggling or any of that. So I feel for her on that one, because I've
Right.
felt that pressures, but I promised myself early on that I would never let this become a thing that held me back from opening up. If I got something going on in my life, I need to talk about it. And
Right.
I'm very thankful that this page, I'm very thankful for my followers, like you said, that I have really good
Yeah.
followers here. They've all been very supportive of my recovery, and when they need to take a break, or when I come here and I say, guys, I got to admit I'm pissed off today, and everybody's all, hey, I'm pissed off too, it's
Yeah.
wonderful.
And you give everybody that platform to be able to, and I mean, it's awesome to be able to do that, to be able to sound off and even if it's just typing it in the chat, we're reading it.
Mm-hmm.
We are reading it, and you have every right to be pissed off if you're pissed off. You have every right to be happy if you're happy. If you're sad, and express that.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to tell the people that love you, or like your followers, that, hey, I'm struggling. I'm struggling today, and I need, I would have dropped everything if she had just said, hey, Brenda, even in the middle of the night, I'm struggling and I really need to talk to you. Hey, I'll sit up all night with you on video cam. Do you need me to come over there? Are you going to be okay long enough? You know, we can talk on the phone till I get there or whatever. I would have done that. I might have went, "Oh, what are you calling me for at 3 a.m.?" And 3 a.m. has been a thing ever since she passed for me. So I can't help but feel there's some kind of message there from her, and I want it. I really do. I need to hear her tell me or feel it that she's okay now. I mean, I know it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just one more time. I want to hear your voice. I call her voicemail. You know what it does to the family. They're as much a victim as the addict, and what it does to them and how it changes them. It's different. I know inside I'm never going to be the same again. I don't have my sister anymore. My
Mm-hmm.
mom doesn't have a daughter. Um, my brothers have lost a sister, and their sons have lost a mother. It affects every single person in your life, and it's devastating. It's the most devastating thing I think I've ever experienced. And as you know, from following Matt, we've had a lot of death in our family in the last 3 years, a lot.
Amen.
But we expect it in a way because Uncle Ernie was older, and your dad was very sick, and Uncle Butch had COVID, and then his diabetes went. I mean, we could understand that.
Yeah.
I think for people, and I have never been an addict, so I have to speak from this side of the fence. But I think for those of us that aren't an addict, it's hard for us to understand and comprehend what's going on inside the addict
Amen.
and how they're feeling. And, unfortunately, so many of us today are dealing with it, whether we're dealing with it from that side of the fence or this side of the fence. We're dealing with it and we're having to cope with it every day. It's in the news every day.
Amen. 100 overdose deaths on average every single day. So
And
it's
that's probably on the low end, I would guess,
I
because
would
the it's the people I know that are gone because of addiction. I never thought I would be the one who lost a family member to addiction. I just never thought. You think this cannot happen to me. It cannot happen to our family. Well, it happened. And obviously for a reason. And the reason why I'm talking is because my sister was very open. And I feel like that's what she would have wanted me to do. And I feel like if we keep burying has the non-addicts, I don't know how else to put that, but we keep burying our heads in the sand. And as long as we keep burying our heads in the sand, we're not going to fix this problem. We're not going to help our family, our loved ones, even a stranger on the street. I get so upset when I see the stupid videos people post of addicts on the street that are actually in full-blown addiction, and they're walking the street already high on something. And it's not funny. That's somebody's family member.
mm-hmm.
That's somebody's loved one.
They make a
It's not
mockery
funny.
out of addicts for sure. And it doesn't help. The
Right.
general attitude in the air towards addicts and people like that doesn't help at all. It's I don't know how the word
I
for it.
think it's making you ashamed of your addiction when, again, I will say this, I fully believe that addiction is a disease. And instead of making fun, why aren't we helping them?
Mm-hmm.
Take them to the hospital, call an ambulance, do something. I don't care, but don't laugh. Don't take videos and post them on Facebook, on social media, making fun of them. And you hear them laughing in the background about it or making rude and snide comments. No, that ambulance should have been called. Those people should have been taken to the hospitals where they could be monitored to make sure they were not going to OD, instead of finding them the next day or hours later in a ditch somewhere cold. It's just not fair. It's not fair to them. It's not fair to their family members. They are loved by somebody. And I know every one of them loves somebody.
Amen.
So, it could be your family member next.
Mm-hmm.
God forbid it would be your family member next. So I'm sorry, but I mean, I have a friend who just lost her son-in-law to addiction. And I'm not going to mention names, but she's also struggling with addiction within her own family. And so her and I had a lot to discuss all the time about it. I am going to be the first one to tell you I'm green. I do not know anything about it. The drugs that they're using, my sister would use slang words, and I'm looking at her like, what are you talking about? But
Mm-hmm.
the fact of the matter is, it doesn't really matter, does it?
Amen.
What matters is being there for each other. There's too much diversity in our world today, and instead of making fun of or choosing sides, let's just take care of each other.
Amen. We're all people. We're all people just having a human experience.
Exactly. But I know she was the first one to help when the homeless shelter needed donations, or she was the first one to help with somebody needed a coat, or she'd give up her last dollar on the street. And my sister was also homeless for many years, and she would give the last dollar to anyone. And a lot of them called her Mama Nancy because she took care of everybody. There was a lot of young kids on the street, and she took them in like her own under her wing, and she looked out for them, and they in return looked out for her. And I know that's kind of a code on the street, but at the same time, they loved her. They
Mm-hmm.
absolutely loved her, and she had a heart of gold. She really did. She may have had faults, we all do. She's fallen and um, struggled, but even if during her deepest, darkest depression, she would chin up and help someone out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
Yeah. I wrote a poem not long ago about just because I've seen so many people that follow my page that call me an inspiration and everything else. But then I've seen those same people on their own Facebook things, posting memes, saying, haha, look at this junkie. Or, these junkies that broke into my garage in this town are all going to get, they should all be put on an island and shot. And it really hit me in the heart because I was that guy. I
right,
was that junkie on the street. I'm no better than that person. And there
right,
was a time in my life when I was down in the ditches too. So to look at me and say I'm amazing, but then to look at that junkie in the street and say he's dirt, that doesn't make sense because I am that junkie in the street. So he's just as amazing as I am. He's
right.
just got it, it's still inside of him, we just haven't opened up and let it out.
I
And
mean, for those that are fortunate enough, like you and my sister and a few others, that I know, and I'm sure there's several in the audience listening too, that have family members that are not afraid to be tough when they have to be tough, and not afraid to be there and be that shoulder when you need that shoulder. Your mom, she's an amazing woman. She really is. I mean, when finally got to meet your mom and get to talk to your mom, she's she's a tough cookie. She really is. And
mhm,
but yet she's got a heart. She's got so much to give to the community on our side of that fence. As the parents, as the family members of the addict. It's tough to love an addict. It is
right,
hard to love an addict. But those of us that stand strong and do it and are, drop of the hat, okay, I'm there. If you're ready, I'm there. I will take you. No problem. You need to go to the hospital. Okay, you need to go. I'm going to deal with this. I'm going to get you the help you need. But it's up to the addict to do the work. And until that person, and I keep saying addict, that person is ready, we're beating our heads against a concrete wall. But
mhm,
we keep doing it. We keep beating our head against that wall. We keep going and we keep doing it because we love that person and we want that person to do better and we want that person to live. I got 5 more years. I'm going to be grateful for that.
Exactly.
I'm going to be happy that I got that 5 years, because for over 20, my sister was on the streets and she was an active addict. And 5 years ain't long enough, but it's what I obviously needed. And that's what she obviously needed. So, you know what? I'm thankful for that 5 years.
Amen. Amen. You know, it's so many other addicts that don't even get to see a 5 year mark, you know, and their families never get to see them cleaned at all. So you definitely got to see the bright and shining version of her for 5 years, and that's beautiful.
She was, I don't even know how to, sisters, you're jealous of each other. This one got that, or she thinks I got this, or I got the special attention and she didn't, or she got the special. But you know what? It doesn't even matter anymore. It doesn't even matter, because all that petty stuff, and it is petty, just isn't worth fighting over. Just isn't worth hating over. And I realized that it wasn't her I hated in these years. It was not her. It was the drugs, the addiction. It didn't make her who she was. It just defined who she was, I guess is what I'm trying to say. The drugs made her a different person on the outside, but on the inside, she was still my sister, and she still had a heart of gold, and she still would have done anything for anybody, and did.
Amen. Amen. Their soul's still alive in there. We're just real shadowed, you know. There's so much that happens in an active addiction. And like you said, she was a dual diagnosis, dealing with not only addiction, but PTSD and depression and anxiety. And I can definitely, I didn't know your sister, but I can definitely relate to her pain. I've definitely been there. And so many of us have that same story, that we're not just battling addiction, we're battling mental illnesses that some people can't even imagine the struggle that addict goes through on a daily basis.
And that's one thing. And like you said, my sister's been gone a week. And I've done a lot of thinking, a lot of dwelling, a lot of kicking my own butt, a lot of blaming myself. And we blame ourselves. What could we have done different? Why didn't I see the signs? I think I even posted that. How come I didn't see it? She did TikToks, and some of them, now I can look at it. Then I didn't see it. But now I look at it and go, wow, she really was sad. She really was hurting, and I didn't see that. I'm her sister. There is nothing closer than sisters, and I didn't see that. So yeah, I blame myself. I kicked myself. I should have saw it, but I didn't, and that's, for some reason, I didn't see it. I guess I'm not even going to try to make up an excuse for it, because I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't know. But I thought to myself, what was going on in her head? How was she feeling in her heart and her soul? What was hurting her so badly that she couldn't talk to anyone? And I just want to say, don't let anything ever make you feel like you can't talk. I mean, hey, I'm on Facebook. You need somebody to listen. Hit me up. I'll listen. Because I feel, I feel like I've got to do something to make this make sense to me. For me to be able to deal with it, I feel like I don't know how to even express it. I know it's not a major difference, but if it saved one person's life, just one, if her story could save one person's life, it would give it meaning. She wouldn't have died for no reason.
Amen.
And the fact is, she's gone. I have to say it. I have to talk about it. I can't keep it inside, because if I do, then I'm dealing with all of that inside me, and look where it got her. You have to talk about it. Yeah. And your uncle has been amazing. I mean, I am so lucky to be part of this family. I can't tell you. And the extended family as well. And it's like, they are so supportive, so loving, so and my husband is the most amazing man in the world. I don't know where I'd be without him. I really don't. He has been my rock. He's tried to be my mother's rock. I mean, my mom likes to tell everybody she's his favorite son-in-law. Well, he's the only son-in-law. But he is. He's a great guy. And he moved all the way down here from Wisconsin to help so we could take care of my parents. And how many people do that? His children are in Wisconsin. His entire family's there. And we go back often. But he did that for me. And that's, how many men do that? Or women, for that matter.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're so lucky to have found Caitlin. I mean, she is so supportive of you.
I think we're lucky to find these Jablonskys, honestly.
That's very true. The Jablonsky men are amazing men. And, I mean, I wouldn't trade being part of this family for anything in the world. I told, your Aunt Bev was the first one to introduce herself to me. And we were already engaged. I hadn't met anybody except Ernie. I met Ernie and Mick. Ernie and Big Mick, Mike, or Big Mick. Yeah. But, it was, I hadn't even met any of his sisters, and he had a younger brother, and, there's two younger brothers. And besides, I mean, they come from a big family too, but it's amazing the bond. I mean, they get mad at each other all the time, but shit, don't do it. That's just part of being a family, and you love each other and you hate each other, but you love to hate each other.
That's about it. Mary Huffman had a good point here. She says, you need to give yourself grace. She could have reached out. She thought she had it, though. I'm sure she just thought it was going to be a slip.
Yeah.
That's an excellent point. When an addict uses drugs, they don't expect to die. They expect to get high. When we overdose or when we got bad drugs, they weren't trying to kill themselves. They weren't trying. It was just the wrong time at the wrong amount or the wrong drug or the wrong whatever. But, they were never trying to die. It was never that was never the point of it,
Yeah. But, I mean, I think that's common with grief. You do, when you lost your dad, you went through your own battles. Mm-hmm. And we blame ourselves. We do. Of course, your dad, he was a hardworking man his whole life. And but he stood by you, and he believed in you, and you proved him right. I mean, and I'm going to believe that about my sister. We stood by her, and she proved us right. But her demons were just a little stronger than she was. And I'm just going to say, if you need help, get help. Don't ask somebody. If you think you're going to call somebody. Get on Facebook. There's groups, then somebody's always on there and ready to talk to you. I joined several support groups for families of addicts that have died. And they've been amazing. They have been amazing. And it's there. It's like I said, I mean, I've got Messenger. I'll talk to you. I do not want to see another person or know of another person that passed away that I knew or loved. It's bad enough the people you don't know. It doesn't matter. They all are important for some reason or another. They were put here, and they're here to make a difference for one reason or another. And I think my sister did. I think she did. The people that have reached out to me that I don't know, but she knew them and they loved her, and at first it was like, this is too fresh. I can't do it. I can't deal with your pain too. I got to deal with my pain. I got to be, and I'm going to tell you, I was not strong. I lost it. I couldn't be there for my mom. I couldn't be there for my brothers. And I'm usually the one that's there for everybody. I'm usually the strong one. But I couldn't do it. And I had to ask for help. And I just was not going to be another statistic. I wasn't going to let this beat me down to the point that I could not function. And I still struggle. I still just like we all do. We all do. Um, but I specifically told that doctor, I said, I will not take a narcotic. I won't. It's if there's the slightest chance that it's addictive, I will go out here and I will wait. I will struggle through it. I will make it. But right now, I got to be strong for my mom. And she understood that, and that's what she gave me. But the one thing she told me, and that I took away from my doctor visit, was that when a person's an addict, the chemicals in the drug actually change their chemical makeup. And that's why the addict still is an addict to the day they pass on, because they that chemicals telling them you want me, and you need me. And in reality, what you need and what you want is probably pretty spiritual and therapeutic. Meditation. I believe in meditation. I mean, Matt knows I'm kind of funny, but I believe in the metaphysical side of meditation and prayer, and um, taking time to look within yourself. And that's what meditation brings you to, looking inside yourself, finding those areas of your life that you're still struggling with and working with that and fixing that. Nobody can fix you but you. You can ask for help, and we can be there, and we can take you to the appointments, but you got to do the work. You have to do the work, and that's
No, you can't do it for you.
but yeah,
I wish I could do it for you.
we can. I have to do the work on myself and fix my own mental self and get. But I have to go through that grieving process before I can move on any further. And I am, but right now, my main concern is putting her to rest and doing it with dignity and doing it with respect, because she deserves it.
Amen. Amen. And like we said at the beginning of the video, anybody that's joining us now, if you'd like to donate, if you feel led to donate to help with final expenses for Nancy, you can either message me. We can get a hold of like a PayPal or a Cash App or something like that. But there is
Absolutely.
a donation set up right on Facebook for donations. There's a link in the description of this video over to the donation thing, or you can go right to Brenda's Facebook page and you can find the links to donate right there. I have a poem that I wrote that I'd like to share with you, Brenda. I hope it helps you. This is called I Know You Didn't Mean To. I know you didn't mean to. I know you didn't try. It was just a stupid mistake. You didn't want to die. You were doing so good. We were so proud of you. But good emotions, sometimes they're overwhelming too. Maybe I should have called or answered that last text, but I didn't see this coming. I didn't know you were next. I know it's kind of late now and maybe weird to say, but I love you so much and I'll miss you every day. This is so unfair. No one knows how to feel. I keep waiting to wake up or hear that this isn't real. What do I tell the people when they ask me how you've been? I suppose I'll tell the truth, that addiction never ends. I'll tell them if they're hurting, they can always call on me. I couldn't be there for you, but for them, maybe I could be. Maybe I can help someone and maybe they will learn that drugs aren't the fun you can't have. They're the hell you don't deserve. I wrote that for Overdose Awareness Day, and I thought that might be good for you.
Thank you. It's true. I mean, I was doing really good, Matt, till you read that.
That's part of the healing, though. Part of the healing
It
is
is.
tears,
It is. And I don't know. I'm sure I'll get through it and I'll go on, but I'll never forget her. And every day something else shows up of hers that I didn't even know was here. She stayed here quite a bit. Like we'd go out of town, she'd stay here with our pets, and so stands to reason that there's going to be something of hers here. But
Mhm.
every day we find something else, or we go in her when I go to my mom's, we kind of step inside the room and just together. We haven't really let anyone in the room. Pretty much everything's the way she left it. I mean, yeah, we've gone through a few things, but we're just not ready. Just not ready to do that yet. And because when you do that, in my eyes, when you have to go through and go through your loved one's belongings, it's final.
That's it.
It's more final than their funeral, because you're deciding what to do with their belongings. Where does it go? It's theirs. I don't want anybody to touch it. Mom and I just can't let anyone in the room. No one. And once in a while, when I go over, we go in there and we'll sit down, and you see it in my mom's face. She's just thinking and she's remembering. And of course, she lived with my mom, so my mom knew a lot of her things and where it came from and what it meant to her and how excited she was to get that new blouse. It was tacky, but she loved it. But she was excited, and she didn't have anything. Backpacks, 2 backpacks is what she carried all of her belongings in for so long, that she finally had shoes and clothes and jewelry and makeup and pictures and a dresser to put her clothes in and a bed to lay her head on. And the simple things in life that we take for granted meant everything to her. And it's very, very hard to go in there and go through her drawers or go through her, special things. And my sister loved dream catchers, and they're all over the room. And my granddaughter was exceptionally close to my sister, and she's 7. So she's having a really rough time. My daughter talked to her more than she talks to me. But I wanted to get a dream catcher for my granddaughter just so she had something at Aunt Nancy's. Well, Ancy, she called her Ancy. But I just can't take it off the wall yet. I just can't do it. And I told her, I said, I'll get you one, but you got to give grandma time, because it's not easy for me either. But, of course, she don't know all the details. She's 7. You don't want to scare them. You don't want them to be afraid of the world.
Right.
But they should be. They really should be. It's scary what we're raising our children in today. And if I had to do it, if I was raising kids today, I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't. To bring a child into the world the way it is. And that's sad. It really is. It's sad, because if we all, obviously we die off, but used to, I remember when I was a kid, we could run up and down the streets, be in by the time the street lights come on. If you weren't, you were in trouble. Or check in all day. Just stop in, check in. Mom trusted where we were, what we were doing. Maybe she shouldn't have, but she did. And even when I was raising my kids, which are about you guys' age, I still let them run the neighborhood, not like we did. We ran the whole town, but they still got to run the neighborhood and ride their bikes. And now people are afraid to discipline their children. They're afraid to let them out in the yard to play. They're afraid to send them to school. You got to be worried about every single person they come in contact with. And if there's somebody selling drugs on the school grounds, or anything, it's just a scary world. And I know she was kind of a surrogate grandma to my grandchildren, and when we went somewhere, my granddaughter tried to take off, she grabbed her up by the arm, and no way, you don't know. You could be gone before we would even notice that you had disappeared. It's just that quick. You have to stay with us. So she was very loving with children, and kids loved her. There's just so many good things about her. I mean, that far outweigh the addiction. And that's what I think we need to remember about our active addicts that are out here on the street or at home or whatever. The good things about them far outweigh the bad.
Definitely. I've said it before that, I know a lot of people that are really amazing musicians that are recovering addicts. And I've said before that somewhere out there's a guy putting a needle in his neck tonight. And one day he's going to get clean and he's going to write a song that somebody's going to dance to at their wedding. Or there's somebody out there right now who's in a ditch, using meth tonight, but he's going to get clean and he's going to become a doctor and he's going to save somebody one day. We just don't know what they have inside of them. Everybody,
write a book or make a movie or become a star. I mean, they're still capable of so much. And they're like I said, don't let your addiction define you. Don't let it be you. Yeah, it's an illness. You're going to battle it the rest of your life, but don't let it take your life. Don't let it take your life.
Right on. Well, I think we've said about all we can say tonight, Brenda. Thank you so much for coming on here and sharing with us.
Thank you, and thank everybody out there for helping it out all they can. I mean, whatever, every little bit helps. It gets us that one step closer to being able to put her to rest and do what we need to do and take care of whatever needs taken care of. And anything above and beyond her expenses will be donated to the homeless, the hotels for homeless here in our area. She was very active with it. She believed in it. And I just, I feel like it's going to be donated in her name. And it'll help keep somebody warm this winter, off the streets.
Yeah, that was something that she was really proud of too.
Passionate about it. She was very passionate about it because that was her. That was her. So she stuck up for her people.
As we all do. That's good. That's good. Well, I can tell you guys had an amazing bond. And it's awesome to have you here sharing about her tonight. That's for sure.
I appreciate you having me. Thank you.
Yeah. I hope this message reaches somebody out there and does exactly what you wanted. That that her story will help somebody out there. Maybe even just get another day.
Yeah.
Oh. All right. Well, thank you, Aunt Brenda. You have a good night.
It's nice to
Thank
meet you.
You too. Bye.
Bye. All right, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys for hanging out with us tonight. I hope somebody got something good out of this. If you're in recovery, I hope this message taught you to stay in recovery, keep pushing, keep going, because look what happens when we go back out. We leave our families in such devastation. Samantha, my cousin, is in the comments saying that she's wearing Nancy's sweater tonight so she can feel close to her. And I've often thought that same thought. What piece of clothes of yours do you think your family will be looking at and holding if you go back out and you pass away, you overdose? What piece of clothes in your closet do you think they'll hold at night because they miss you? What picture of yours on your Facebook do you think they'll pick out for your memorial? These are the little questions that we need to ask ourselves and remind ourselves of why we do this, why we're in recovery, why we're pushing. So keep going, guys, and I'll keep going, and we'll all make it another day. To the next 24 we go. If anybody wants to donate to help with final expenses for Nancy, of course you can reach out to me. There is a message button on my page if you can't figure out how to work it, but there's a link in the description of this video that should take you right to the fundraiser right here on Facebook. But there's also plenty of other ways we can help. Or you could throw stars up on this video. Any of the stars that come up on this video are going to be donated right to Brenda to help with those final expenses as well. So thank you guys for anything you do. And hopefully if you can't give, that's okay. I hope you got a good message out of this. So share this video out, throw some hearts off on it. I love you guys. We will see you guys tomorrow morning. Until then, stay happy,
Stay healthy,
and stay clean.